Hello, I'm back from London after having taken a short break, and I decided to do a follow-up course. Thank you, everyone who has subscribed to the course or followed me. I've had some very nice support from many authors and colleagues in the publishing industry. So for those of you who are new to this, my name is Ian Skewis. I'm a best-selling author and a freelance editor and proofreader. And I decided we would do these courses in 5 stages or modules, as it were. So the first course is completed and it's available on YouTube and on TikTok. And this is the beginning of the second course, and it's especially aimed at debut authors. So you may recall, and you can go back to these videos whenever you feel like it, but previously we'd done a 5-step course. So just to recap very roughly on what we did, the idea was to roughly figure out the word count of your novel. If it's fiction, we were aiming potentially for about 80,000 words. To divide that up into chapters, so again we just gave a rough ballpark figure of say 20 chapters for the beginning, 20 for the middle and 20 for the end, with potentially a prologue or some kind of introductory chapter at the beginning to grab the reader's attention. And also we spoke briefly about points of view, maybe one point of view per chapter, just to make it easy for you as the writer. And also a reminder not to overcrowd every chapter with lots of characters, especially the opening chapters. Give yourself time to introduce and place these characters, because there's nothing worse than, overcrowding the novel right at the beginning, and the readers have got to try and take all these names and character descriptions on board. This is especially a warning for those of you who are writing historical fiction, because there's a temptation to do that, I think, especially with relatively inexperienced authors. I guess the main thrust of this second course, part 1, is about dividing each chapter up in a bit more detail. So for example, you've got your prologue. The aim of the prologue is to grab the readers and also to give them a kind of a taste of what's to come. So with the rest of the chapters, I guess what you want to do at this stage is to review them. If you've already written all of them or several of them, now's a good time to have a read through and figure out, is there anything I can do to improve this? So what we'd be looking at this stage is the beginning, the middle and the end of each chapter. So it's almost like a micro version of how you divided up the entire novel in the previous course. Now we're just taking it to a slightly more detailed level. So is the beginning of the chapter, is it going to grab the readers? Is the middle of the chapter going to maintain their interest? And is the ending of that chapter going to be a cliffhanger or a page turner? Now, ideally, you want it to be just that, regardless of what genre you're writing, whether it's fantasy or science fiction or historical fiction or literary fiction. But there are lots of different ways that those things can take place. So the main thing, because we've also got to think about these books in commercial terms as well. Are you going to hook the reader? Are you going to reel them in? Are they going to want to continue to the next chapter? And also in the long run, it's going to be better for you, because if you've paid money to have this book edited and published, for example, the more people that read your book, obviously the better royalty rate you will get as well. And you want the book to try and make a profit, and then you can write a sequel, etc. So it's an important exercise, I think, to do, and it's quite a simple one. You're literally just reading through each chapter and just tweaking it and thinking, right, is the opening line good enough? Is it interesting? Is it going to hook people in? And is the middle part of it flagging a bit? you know. And sometimes your chapters can be just, a few pages long. There's one book I edited recently, each chapter was roughly 4 pages. But for some books, historical fiction, again, the chapters tend to be longer. They can be, I don't know, 10, 15 pages long if need be, as long as it works for you. But as long as within that chapter, you're maintaining the reader's interest from the beginning of the chapter through to that kind of delicate middle zone, which can be quite tricky, to the ending of it. So it's kind of looking at the entire novel in microcosm, beginning, middle, end, beginning, middle, end, beginning, middle, end. You're just doing the same kind of exercise all the way through. So I hope this is helpful. I'll be doing another 4 of these slightly more advanced exercises to help you continue with writing your novel. I am available for hire, and you can also contact me for advice, either on YouTube or TikTok, or you can contact me via my website, which is www.ianskews.com, and I'll put all the details, the contact details, in the blurb for this video, and all the upcoming videos. And I will also just give you a kind of brief outline of what this video was, so that you've got the kind of bullet points, which might make it easier, especially if you want to come back and just double check that you've got things the way you want it. So happy writing, and I will speak to you again soon, and I'll go and clear my throat. Goodbye.